Today's design challenge? Make the fastest video game ever made. So that would be faster than the Extreme G series, faster than the King Daddy, the criminally unremastered F-Zero GX, and probably faster than whatever this is. But let's face it, if you take the challenge literally, well, that's just any video game that features fast travel, which is essentially instant teleportation, and that's just cheating. And we don't want this, we want the player to be in complete control and not a passenger. So let's be clear, we actually want the fastest feeling video game that the player is in complete control of. Oh, and we also want to melt some faces. So let's get to work. So I have an idea. I've always liked Star Fox, so what if we take the same third-person perspective but make the whole game about speed? First, we need a ship. Let's throw some scaled cubes together as a placeholder. I'm kind of obsessed with using the mouse as input these days because it has such great dynamic range compared to an analog stick. It can do very fine motion as well as big moves. Let's hook it up to our ship and see how it handles. Yeah, this definitely has potential. I like the flow feeling that the mouse control gives you. Now we need some obstacles to fly through. How about some more cubes? If we randomly scale the cubes along the X, Y and Z axes and place them randomly, we can make a basic procedurally generated level. We can turn this into an infinite playing area by simply spawning the cubes in the distance and despawning them when they go behind the camera. And if we play the game now, it looks like this. Alright, I know I shouldn't do this so early, but I really want to make a better ship model. Let's make it red for speed with white accents. Let's add a couple of winglets here and... oh wait, this is Lego, isn't it? Oh man, I've done it again. Let's use this as inspiration for a Blender model.
A few moments later.
Okay, this is looking good. Let's get it into the game. It's amazing how much a proper ship model transforms a game feel. Next, the camera needs to move with the ship so that we can see where we're going. We still want the camera to be a bit floaty so that the ship moves around in screen space and makes it look more cinematic. And what if you could roll a ship too? That might be nice for fitting through thin gaps. Oh, and we should add some basic collision response so we can start judging the gameplay. Okay, let's think about the feeling of speed for a moment. Something that really helps is having objects fly past the camera really close. And we can do something clever here and combine this with a gameplay mechanic. What if you have to skim close to the obstacles to, say, gain energy? We can do a physics sphere check in code and then slowly increase the energy variable when it detects that objects are intersecting. Next, we can make a cool effect where close objects look like they're giving off energy by using the Z buffer. We do this by setting the Z test to greater than, so the effect only renders for pixels where the sphere geometry is further away than the obstacle geometry. It's the same method that games like Super Mario Sunshine use to show the player's silhouette behind objects. Let's add energy and shield meters. Okay, you know what's been nagging at me? Meters are lazy design. They often represent a lack of imagination on the part of... Yeah, I know I said meters are lazy in that last video, but sometimes it's just what you need. We'll see if they last a whole challenge. So what exactly are we charging here? Well, we want to make the fastest video game ever made, so what if every time you fill the meter you warp out of this zone and into a faster zone? And each zone just gets faster and faster. Faster and faster and faster and so on until we've pushed the player to the absolute limits of their skill. What happens when your shields hit zero? You know how the ship is made out of separate pieces which technically aren't even connected? Let's make it so that whatever super scientific binding force that is keeping the ship together breaks on game over. We can do this by creating a separate prefab for the destroyed ship and adding a rigid body component to each piece so that they fall and collide separately, and then when the player dies we just swap in this prefab for the player's ship. Add a particle effect I found on the asset store and it ends up looking like this. Now what about the look of the game? I'd like to see what it would look like in more of an anime style. There's a great Unity asset called FlatKit, which you can use to add outlines and cartoon shading. Definitely interesting, but not quite right yet. Let's keep working. Now for the obstacles. They look a bit like crystals or rock formations in the way they're scattered, so let's lean into that. If we rotate one of these simple rock models randomly and then stretch it along random axes, they're going to look very different to each other. We can do this in code instead of in Blender to make unique looking procedural crystals. Combine this with the way they randomly intersect and layer on top of each other and you get a tunnel of rock formations. I'm using a car paint shader to make the rocks look like they contain different minerals, but it looks a bit busy visually. Let's change things up a bit and move on to sound. One thing that will really help sell the feeling of speed is the sound of objects whipping past the camera at high speeds. I don't just want to use stock sound effects for this, I want something completely dynamic. So what we're going to do is make a sphere collider around the camera to find obstacles close enough to make sound, and then add 3D audio sources on the nearest points to the camera. With the 3D spatial audio and Doppler effects, it sounds like this. Let's add some collision sounds to make it feel more physical. We need a computer voice to give you major status updates. I'm using one that sounds vaguely human but a little bit off to reinforce the sci-fi setting.
Shield warning.
With effects it sounds like this.
Shield warning.
Now for some quality of life HUD changes. I've moved the energy meter to be right by the player so they don't have to look away from the center of the screen to read it. And yes, I got rid of the shields meter and replaced it with shield icons, which are much easier to read at a glance. We really want to reward filling the energy meter and warping to the next section, so let's make a super satisfying warp effect using particles, camera animation and sound.
Matter drive charge. 3, 2, 1. Engage. Faster.
For balance, I added a pickup that restores one segment of shield. It makes for a nice risk-reward mechanic. Is it worth making a risky move for the pickup, or should you just leave it where it is? Now for some music. To fit the cyberpunk theme, I wrote some minimalist techno, which helps with the feeling of speed.
Matter drive 50%.
We're almost there, we just need a title. What should I call a game which is designed to go faster than any other game, and when you complete a level it keeps getting faster and faster until you're going faster than you've ever gone before? Faster. We'll call it Faster. And this is the logo and title screen. Okay, we're finished. Let's see how far I can get. Wait, but before we get started, I'd like to address a comment from the last video. Mr. Draxes says that by giving these games away free, I'm choosing bankruptcy. Well, in your face, Mr. Draxes, this one's going to be free too. Download details coming up later. Now, where were we? Oh yeah, the early levels are pretty easy, so you can focus more on skimming than avoiding. Let's skip ahead a bit. Level 13 and things are getting more serious. I managed to make it to level 20, but that's as far as my limited skills will go. So YouTube, I have a challenge for you. I've left the maximum speed completely uncapped, but this is a challenge only for the best of the best. The bravest and the boldest, the heroes who walk amongst us. If you can make it to a higher level, leave the video link in a comment below and I'll pin the highest score to the top. We salute you, brave warriors. We salute you. Plus, I have no idea what happens after level 20 and I really want someone to break the game. Now, last time I left you a QR code to download the game, and I even got notifications that some of you managed to do it, but then the QR code expired because they want about $1 billion for the QR code service and I refused to pay. So I fixed this for this video by simply giving you a URL. Pens ready? Here it is. Or you could just hit up the link in the description. It's up to you. And don't forget to post your videos in the comments. Thanks!